Hey gang, Kevin here, Life22. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and send your hate mail to, well, I'm sure our contact information is on the YouTube channel, as well as wherever you found this thing being posted. Let's see here. This is the last and final video for the S.Obergfell controversy at the school board, which we've already reviewed this video. This is just a different perspective, so this one should be quick. Obviously, you'll have the conclusion made up in your own mind, of course. Hopefully our commentary helped, and the fact that we presented you with all 5 videos when only one remained on the internet for you to originally make your choice on what actually happened here. Which is a big deal, right? Like, if somebody suppresses all the other things, essentially like playing the role of Winston Smith from 1984, where his job was to curtail, and anytime the government changed their mind, they would just delete the facts and rewrite history. And that was his job, was to rewrite and edit history. And that's kind of what's happening with the narrative and social media, is people just remove the content and say, oh, it never existed because it's not there. And that's not what happened, and that's why we had to do some digging, and we had to go to the streets to get the footage. And there was a pretty big outcry, because, I mean, we had hundreds of people reach out to us on this side. Probably 15 people sent us video footage. Most of it repetitive, and that's why there's only 4 additional videos that were uncovered. But at least there was an outcry of people that had seen the videos before they got taken down and were kind of pissed off that the narrative had changed. And all of a sudden now S.Obergfell's out there, you know, with his sacrificial sword slaying gay people, and that's not happening. And we showed you that here. And he may have made some incorrect judgments, him and the girls that he was with, but they weren't they weren't unfounded. You know, we all make rash decisions in the moment that that just, you know, that aren't the best. But I mean, essentially, it was kind of like a debate version of self-defense, right? It was a do unto others as you want done to yourself, and that's what happened. We reviewed the other 3 speakers, and here we're going back to speaker number 4 for the last video, which was 4 minutes and 6 seconds. And we might get some clipping, because I definitely told this thing to switch, and she ain't switching. Swish, swish, swish her sweets. We're going to get a spike in CPU. Yep, there we go. We may lose you, folks. And my core hasn't moved at all. Let's see here. Clearly there's another video out there.
Being spelled like that. My name is Leo Walters-Tejera. I'm a small business owner. I'm an Oleander taxpayer. I am a Christian minister. And I'm a concerned parent of a non-binary child that goes to Oleander School District and has mental health issues.
So, I know I pointed this out before. I don't know what that whole, like, and maybe I'm just picking up on it now. I don't know what the whole, I'm a Christian minister, and then, like, looks off camera. I don't know if he's, if Leo is pointing to Sean, or if, I don't know what that is. Is that like a charismatic, like, I'm a Christian minister too? Like, I don't know what that is.
On June 21st, 2008, the special education director stated in public media that LGBTQ people were possessed by the devil. On June 27th,
wait a minute. Public
media? Special
media?
education director stated in public media that LGBTQ people were possessed by the devil.
So I love how social media is now public media. Either way, I mean, private Facebook. To each their own. You know, I never gotten. What you see? 2018. It was like 2-3 years ago.
On June 27th, we came here to seek our school board to stand up for our students, for our children. Period. We came back on July 3rd, and we presented a plan that we had formulated by consulting multiple education lawyers. The issue at hand today is not religion. The issue at hand today is not a person. Because healthy people don't attack people, healthy people attack problems. And the problem that we have in Oleander, New York right now is that our children are not protected.
So I gonna re-critique this real quick, and a new thought popped in my head. Healthy people don't attack people; they attack problems. Right? Nowhere. Now maybe Leo is referring to the special education director that spoke 3 years ago. But in J.Whitcher stuff, he's not. He's saying the problem is, in his religion, they believe that homosexuality is a sin, so they're attacking the problem, which they believe is homosexuality, not homosexuals, right? Like that's, I think, and then maybe that's the rift. So what you're asking, though, is that that the problem now is kids' safety. They're not out there like trying to like stab to death the homosexuality and then, oh, sorry, we accidentally killed the homosexual. Like that's not what's happening. What's happening is they have two different ideas, right? Like one says homosexuality is wrong. The other one says it should be accepted by all. And maybe that's not what they should be saying. Maybe it should say, hey, to each their own. And the other side is not going to change their mind. So you're not going to, well, if we just cancel them, then they won't have a job, and then they'll starve to death, and then we won't have any, they won't be able to buy food, and them and their family will starve to death, and their ideas will die with them. And maybe that's the process of cancel culture. See, nobody ever points that out. What are the ramifications when you cancel somebody? They lose their job, and then they can't pay their mortgage payments, and then they're out on the streets, and because they don't have a job, they're on the streets, they don't have any money, so they can't buy food, and then they starve to death. And if they have children, those children will get taken into into orphanages, and then those orphanages will raise them with left-wing ideology, which has been infiltrated by the left wing. So yeah, no, I mean that's really what that's the idea, right? Like if we just play out what happens when we cancel you, like no, we don't just punish you by taking 10% of your income away by canceling you, and now all of a sudden your movie got canceled, or your just a small stream of income got canceled. No, they want to cut off your entire stream of income, whether it's you're a big movie star or you're a Joe Schmo and you work for the school district or you work at McDonald's. You have a different opposing opinion, we're going to cancel you, you're going to lose your job, and then you and your family are going to starve to death, and your stupid ideas are going to starve with you. I'm not saying your ideas are stupid. I'm saying that they consider your ideas stupid, hence the reason they canceled you. That's the problem. So even J.Whitcher isn't attacking the people here. Even in his sermons, which were on public media, he stated that the problem was in his faith homosexuality was a sin. So he was attacking homosexuality, not homosexuals. He feels that homosexuals don't see what they're doing as a problem. They feel that what they're doing is right for them. And you can see it from both perspectives. I mean, so, but he's not taking it out in school, and I think that's the big issue.
If you are different in any way, shape, or form, you are not protected or shielded from comment from students and apparently now faculty.
Yeah, that's what happens. That is what happens. Because in the real world, people have differing opinions, and you are not sheltered from it. And guess what? That makes you grow. So you either abandon what your beliefs are because maybe certain ideas that are in your head are stupid, and somebody changes your mind, and you conform to what you've just had your mind changed towards, or you stand up for yourself and you be resistant and you say, nope, I'm not changing my mind. These are my beliefs, and the problem is the retribution from the other side is, well, I can't get them to change their beliefs, so we have to make those beliefs disappear. And how do we do that? We cancel them. So
this is not about a person. This is about a system that has failed to put safeguards in place to make sure that children do not have to fear from people that they are told to respect that they are possessed by the devil. I received multiple calls this week from students.
Yeah,
One
students,
of whom was
don't
diagnosed
call
recently
Leo.
with schiz-
Talk to your parents, students. You don't call Leo. Leo is not your parent. Go to whatever church you go to that church. Maybe you don't go to church. Talk to an uncle or a grandparent or relative or a sibling, maybe older. Talk to a friend. Don't call Leo. Leo is not an administrator. Call an administrator. Ask them what their take is. Talk to your teacher. It's not their job to answer those questions, but a lot of teachers do care about their students off hours, and they're not trying to harm them, and nor is Joel. talk to the school board. Talk to Rick Moore. Call anybody. Why are you calling Leo? If you need to call me, you can call me. I feel that my thought process is more grounded. As I might be a bit rash on the show and I might be a little profane, not when talking to kids. I don't sit there and swear in front of kids. That's why the channel is rated not for kids. So yeah, let's proceed on, but don't call Leo. Leo get multiple calls. We used to have people at the council meeting. Used to people stop me all the time. Like, why? Are you the mayor? No, you're not.
Week, that student was told that they were possessed by the devil. So I, as a pastor,
when?
As a parent.
See, there's no evidence for this unfounded claim. A student said that one of the educators told them that they were possessed by the devil. Which one? Name them. It's like the death threats that people get. They're almost always unfounded. I joke about it because I know that when I get death threats, I document them in case they come real. But I have guns, so come to my house, try to threaten me, see how that works out for you. I laugh it off because it's all social media where the death threats come from. So I just ha. I document them and then I ignore them because they're stupid. They're stupid people on the internet who don't even leave their house. So how are they going to threaten anybody? They gave your computer a virus. Now your social media account's dead. Now there goes your livelihood. I'm sorry, my livelihood exists outside of here. I've got multiple places where my livelihood comes from. So if you cancel my social media, like, guess what? Like, oh no, it's not like canceling an income stream and have me starve to death. I'll find another way to get my opinion out there. I don't need social media. Getting my opinion off my chest is part of my livelihood. It makes me feel better as a person to express my thoughts and then grow as a person. And that's what the channel's about. And you guys have learned that from our other videos, the life theming events. Every month we do a life theme. Some of them are goofy, but all of them work on you as a person.
And as a concerned citizen, stood there with that student and told them they were not possessed by the devil, that they were not inherently flawed. Moreover, that who they exist as is not an aberration, but you're just someone who belongs, and you didn't hear that when you should have. This is not about freedom of religion, and this is not about J.Whitcher. And if you'll notice, as to this point, I haven't said his name because it's not about him, and it's not about religion, and it's not about an amendment. What it is about a school system that has failed to put safeguards in place for its children. I would like to repeat the ask that we delivered 3 years ago on July 3rd, 2018, here in this very auditorium. We asked that the school board would institute a social media policy for faculty and staff. As a social worker, a career social worker who has done this for a decade after I was kicked out of the Christian church for being gay.
Social worker, career social worker. I'm assuming at the church. And then kicked out for being gay, so like a dishonorable discharge from the career of social work. Okay, I mean, because the dishonorable discharge is given by your employer, right? The government employs the army, and then they honorably discharge or dishonorably discharge. That is that's who gives it out, is your employer. So if you're dishonorably discharged from the career of social work. From your employer, who is the one who hires you for that job, and clearly you get fired for not following rules, then maybe you're not a good social worker. Just throwing that out there.
10 seconds!
9,
10
8,
seconds!
7, 6,
10
5,
seconds, keep going.
4, 3,
Yep,
2,
10 seconds.
1.
Go ahead, board.
Time's up! Time's up! Time's up! You're all done! Time's up!
Time's up, board.
I'm actually just reading the board meeting minutes from today.
Time's up, board. I don't care what you're reading. Time's up.
Time's up! Time's up! Time's up! Time's up! Time's up! Time's up! Out!
Time's up.
Why are we?
So, obviously, Sean and the girls are yelling here, which what we talked about already, right? This is what they were being accused of, as being the only ones to do this, and it never happened to them, and blah, 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 and they started it. Nope, they didn't. It happened in the first video the second video that we reviewed today, and the second speaker, which was Sean, in the heat of the moment, right? It happens. emotions high, but for the other side to just cancel them and turn it around and make them look like the villains. Like leaving out a steak sandwich and all of a sudden, oh, look at that. Somebody ate the steak sandwich. We got them on tape eating the steak sandwich. Boom. They baited them. That's what they do. Anyways, if you can hear, Leo is pointing out that they have an ask, and I got critiqued by Leo in Leo's video where I was kind of barbing that Leo's job was brokering a job with the school to recruit gay kids. That was more of my mild-mannered humor, and we'll get into that during that video review. But what ended up happening was the ask is to create a career social worker into the position for safe spaces for kids. They want a social media policy so they can easily curtail any opposing views, because if the majority says that view is not accepted, then they can remove them from their job because they post on social media. Well, guess what? That's not how the world works. That's not how, if you watch any of the things that I've shared from PragerU in the last month, I believe it was James Madison, Thomas Jefferson, all of our founding fathers actually created the Electoral College and the filibuster and all these things in our Congress so that the majority rule could not just squash minorities. It's minority groups. So all of a sudden now, if you're the minority in Congress, you can filibuster and stop dangerous legislation that could bankrupt the company or is completely obtuse, and that's what's happening, is that the mob rule can't happen. And so social media policy is a way to kind of sequester their freedom of speech, which in and of itself, and suppress their freedom of speech, which in and of itself suppresses their ability to filibuster against the mainstream ideology, or what is believed to be the mainstream ideology, because I believe what Sean believes is probably closer with mainstream ideology. And if you watch mainstream media, your thought process is like, 90% of the country is gay and wants inclusion and wants to wear masks and mandates and vaccine mandates, and like, no, actually, it's probably the other. Usually, you're seeing the people that are on the internet, and it's like they're probably like 10% of the population. They are the minority, but they're yelling the loudest, so they get the grace, they get the ability, because they've built this cadence where that people can't ignore them, so they just assume that that's everybody. And that's where the term silent majority comes in, because almost the entire, because if the meek will inherit the earth, and most people are sheep, then and that's a very true thing. It's even, I believe, in parts of Sean's scripture, the meek will inherit the earth, and by meek I mean people that are just indifferent will just be like, well, I don't believe what Leo's saying here, but I ain't gonna change Leo's mind, and blah blah blah, and everybody thinks like I do, so I don't even have to say anything, and they don't take the time and the effort to do what I'm doing or do what other people do by standing up to the school board and defend free speech like Sean did. And so what happens is now all of a sudden people are just listening over and over, like, oh, majority of people don't think the way I do, and I guess I'm a minority in the population. I should keep my mouth shut still. And it's constant. And then all of a sudden things change, and then we're like, how did our country end up like this? And it's because nobody took a stand and stood up and said, no, you think that way, but majority of Americans do not. And ta-da, and that's where we are today. So, but yeah, so Sean and them are arguing right here, and they're screaming back, and they shouldn't have done it. But Leo is talking about brokering, like we need a board. We need diversity amongst the board members. We need a social media policy. We need a position to help the kids with a safe space and a counselor and a school psychologist and a career school psychologist. And that's why I said Leo is brokering a position for the job, because I've spoken to past board members who sat there during 2018 who said Leo's ask was to create a job for exactly what Leo states is Leo's repertoire of skill sets, right? Like, oh, I am a diverse, inclusionary seminar minister, and I'm a career psychologist, and a career counselor, and all these other things. And it's like, oh, I want to. So that aside, I want to create this position that is everything I just listed that myself has. And oh, by the way, if you're looking for candidates, I'm available. Like that's why I said it, because essentially nobody's pointing that out. And Leo's entire gang doesn't care, because they're like, Leo's the best. All hail Leo. And then they go and they want Leo to get the position so they can help the kids through these troubling times. And the troubling times aren't there. The troubling times are all they're doing is preventing kids from realizing how the world works. And then when they go out to the real world, they need airline pillows at college and safe spaces. And anybody who has a dissenting opinion must be just removed, because even just the sight of somebody who has a differing opinion is hate, and silence is violence. Right? That's that. Anyways, rants.
Calling it. Where are we still letting it go?
This is
Because
about
it doesn't
religion.
fit the agenda.
This is absolutely about freedom of religion.
They let
Time's
Leo.
up.
So they didn't. So if you notice that they didn't start hounding it until Leo was well over 3 minutes, where before Sean had reached 3 minutes, they were doing a countdown. So also pointing that out, they even.
Straight alliance to be formulated at only a middle school, which actually was
Is not the time
Partial.
up.
I guess not.
Isn't time up?
Ask for mandatory safe space
Rick
training.
Moore!
Kaya, isn't time up?
Time's up.
The point of the safe space training, it would be free. We have an agency.
Hey, board, it's not the
This is
time
not
up.
about religion.
selling the position,
How
if
is
you can
this
hear
not
it.
about religion? How?
So if you could hear Leo there, Leo was still selling that position. It would be free, safe spaces, blah blah blah. Yeah, because they wrote a grant to fund this position. Ta-da! And that was the last video in this little series on the S.Obergfell controversy at the Olean City School Board from September 2021. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and I'm sure that our video has given you light on the situation. And was Sean in the wrong? Yes, but not as much in the wrong as the opposing side. And these videos kind of show that. And hopefully the commentary kind of breaks down where Sean's coming from, where the rest of us are coming from, because I'm not 100% on Sean's side, just because I'm not that religious of a person. But I also respect Sean's right to have that religion. I also respect Leo's right to be secular and have Leo's opinions on stuff. But that does not shelter anybody from my opinion of critiquing them. And I welcome their critiques, as Leo has posted one about me and my toe shoes. And so we'll be critiquing that as well. So we have that review. We have 2 school board meetings to do. We've got the Bagmans coming in, because by the time I get all that done, I got to take a break. And then the Bagmans will come in, and they'll be reviewing the last 2 council meetings. And, hey, we're going to listen to the corporate bosses, right? So I'm just giving you the upcoming schedule. And then we've got 1 book review, and then we've got another book review. I'm almost done with another book. And if you can guess the title, it'll surprise you. Probably because I'll post it online after I've read it on Twitter. And then when the review comes, you won't be so shocked if you follow me on Twitter. But either way, don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll see you later, because we also I'm going to do a little newspaper reading just to see how the newspaper's take is on the local elections. We got a Ward 2, 4, 6, and 7 race, plus a mayoral race. We got a lot of exciting content coming up for you guys. And if we don't get it all done today, you will see it very soon. And tomorrow is November 1st, so we will find out how your Sober October went and how your No Shave November is going to be. I didn't kill a deer, so I can't shave, so we'll talk more about that tomorrow. We'll see you guys. Like, subscribe, and send us your hate mail. We love it. We eat it up. Peace.